Well, niece, I hope to see you one day, fitted with a husband.
Not till God make men of some other metal than earth.
Hey, Spill.com representing at South by Southwest.
Woohoo.
Cyrus.
And Brian.
From remote viewing on Spill.com, teaming up to interview some of the cast members from Joss Whedon's Much Ado About Nothing.
We're very fortunate to be sitting here today with Nathan Fillion, Clark Gregg, and Alexis Denisoff of Much Ado About Nothing.
I'm Clark Gregg.
I'm Nathan Fillion.
It would be so nice if I was Nathan Fillion.
I feel like
I
a
chose
substitute.
Nathan Fillion.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'm happy to be you. I'll take that.
No, I feel for you, man.
I feel like a substitute teacher all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're changing the names on us. And Bill Shakespeare was supposed to be here, but he's terribly busy being dead. So we're going to work with what we have.
Yeah, he was going to be at the. He was going to be here, but what was it?
Oh, yeah, he had to do the Theater of the Round Tables.
Yeah,
so we're. Yes, indeed. It starts off quickly.
All right, so we know where we are now.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Good.
I want to start off first with a question to Clark. Now, are you really here, or are you your life model decoy? Because there's been some question about that.
The life model decoy is a device that was first seen in Elizabethan England.
Indeed.
This is really me, as far as you know.
That being said, there is a faked death in Much Ado About Nothing, so
It seems appropriate.
it seems appropriate.
Maybe appropriate.
So you guys are all, frequent Joss Whedon collaborators, so he calls you up and says, I'm shooting Shakespeare at my house over 12 days. What is your immediate reaction to that news?
With Joss, you just say
Always
yes.
say yes.
Always say yes. Yep.
No matter what.
Even when
I
it
mean-
sounds as psycho as trying to do a Shakespeare play at your house in 11 days and film it. But I'm also a big yes. Whatever you say, he came to me at Comic-Con and said, "Oh, listen, I'm going to use Agent Coulson a lot in the Avengers." So my yeses have been just going since then.
Nathan,
Yeah, that
If
didn't
anyone
work
can
out
do
at
it,
all.
It's
did it?
Brian Singer. But Joss, give it a win.
Nathan, I actually heard you had some misgivings at first about taking this on.
At first, I said yes, and then I saw exactly what I had to do, and I was also working at the time, full time. I tried to chicken out. I really didn't. I called Joss and said, "Hey," because somebody had bailed, and Clark came in to save the day. So I
That's
thought,
a good way of putting it.
yeah.
I got far enough down the list.
He offered you a part in Avengers 2 if you stayed on, didn't he?
I said, use Clark again, and it'll be great.
I'll make a call. By the end of the week, you'll be Ant-Man. Just stay on this project.
Let's get that started again.
Coulson back, but he's better looking.
And I guess this wasn't entirely foreign to you guys, because I've heard that Joss invites people over for Shakespeare brunches, which is odd. I've thrown a lot of themed parties, but that's a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Where y'all just read a Shakespeare
I
play.
hear you saying nerds. I can hear you.
One of us. One of us.
The invite just says Much Ado About Muffins, and everybody shows up. I understand how it works.
We had been reading them at his house, and for fun. It's not everybody's definition of fun, but just some actors and friends of actors and husbands and wives and writers and whoever wanted to, and it had been going on for years. And he'd always said, "God, these things are cool. I wish I could figure out a way to shoot it," and he did. I think when he first pitched it to us, we didn't really know exactly what it was going to be or what he had in mind. Day one, we realized, oh, no, this shit's real.
Yeah, I literally thought he was going to film us reading it. Over
It
brunch.
wasn't clear to me.
I literally thought
That's a concept.
Remember to chew with my mouth closed.
You could have had Eggs Benedict.
Could have had.
I love that he's catching on with the pun thing.
This
You
guy.
just lost your job.
It was bound to happen at some point.
That's okay. You can-
jail for that one.
You can trade off. You can be Agent Coulson in the Avengers too. There you go.
Oh, that seems like
Or
way
you
too
could use
dangerous.
LMD. Or you could just speed vision.
I like it. I like all of these plans. So what was the most challenging part of shooting Much Ado About Nothing at Joss's house?
Learning the lines.
Learning the line.
Trying to get the dogs next door to shut up.
There was
Actually,
there was a
yeah.
one little yappy one down the
real
street.
yappy
Yeah,
little. And the
you can
planes,
you
the
can
airplanes.
kind of hear it at one point in there,
In the front yard.
but it just makes it feel normal. you know?
Yeah, it's true.
Shakespeare had dogs.
He did.
Dogs
sure.
of war.
Indeed. Unleash them. So I want to ask you a question, Alexis, specifically about your character in relation to Amy Acker's character in the film. Now, as someone who's seen Angel all the way through 5 times now, and yes, there was a point where I had that much free time, not any longer.
Yeah. He didn't mention the fandom prior to this.
No. I was warned.
There's it seems like there was an intentional subtext in the casting of trying to give you guys the love story that you never got to finish in Angel. Was that at any point talked about?
I mean, the truth is it was never discussed, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think Joss knew that there would be this kind of tasty overlay for people that had watched that relationship. It was like a wink.
Yeah.
But did we bring that to this story in some literal way? No. Did we talk about Wes and Fred? Honestly, no. I mean, this is a completely other thing. But we have a rapport, and we've worked together, and we have a shorthand when we're working together. But I think that extra little treat is for you and for the people that followed that relationship and cared about it. Then they get this little extra.
They get overlaid.
I like this guy.
This guy.
Overlaid.
When do nerds get overlaid?
Never happened.
Not until now.
Kind of going off
Sadly
that.
for us.
Kind of going off that, Nathan, with your casting, I mean, you're used to playing characters that are authority figures who aren't quite as in control as they would like to pretend to be, as is Dogberry.
With the $50 word malpropisms.
Malpropisms, yes.
It's a little early in the day for that, fellas.
Indeed.
And the whiskey we had right before this started.
This is
but
true.
That doesn't change.
So did you kind of see that connection in your character versus the characters that you've kind of become known for?
I know. I think looking back, I think Dogberry's a lot closer in his personality to Captain Hammer, a man who has no idea how stupid he is.
It's true.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. I wouldn't add to
Captain
that.
Hammer was cool.
Was that good? High fives, guys.
Yeah.
Everyone's an authority in their own way.
Damn it! I was just about to do that. This guy, we think too closely alike.
No.
Clark, now you're still newer to the working with Joss world. How is
Less so all the time.
The most highly paid, though.
You guys fight it out in the ring for Ant-Man.
In Mountain Dew? Does that mean I got an extra bagel? I got a lemon in my Diet Coke? That's what...
You got a lemon? What? Joss!
There had to be some amount of anticipation as far as what you've heard about people, always saying, as y'all said, yes, just say yes. Of coming into that, how did the experience of working with him in even a more intimate setting like this, affect the reality?
I mean, I was concerned about him when he told me, I was just having dinner at his house right after the Avengers finished, and I'd seen what he had gone through.
Yeah, was it
having all the
shawarma?
shawarma with Tony Stark. And
he was tired.
And it was really remarkable. I've been impressed with his fortitude and his stamina, but, I only found out about this because I asked him where he was going to go rest for 10 days before he had to start editing. And he told me that this was what they were going to do and that he might have a part. And I actually had to say no. When the first time he asked me, because I was going off to do a play, and then that pushed a couple weeks. And then he called again. Right? I was like, how
do I say no again?
and then so I was really thrilled to be asked back. I mean, and I had a little bit of intimidation factor just because I had so little time to learn a lot of lines, and that's not as easy as it once was. And also, this was definitely an ensemble, a repertory company that I had a huge amount of kind of fandom of my own about. And I was hoping I wouldn't come in and drop the ball and blow the play, and But everyone was incredibly.
Anything but.
Everybody was tremendously welcoming, and they did the great version of welcoming, which wasn't a lot of welcoming. It was just, oh, hey, man, how's it going? Like I had been there all along.
it seems like there's a big tradition of updating Shakespeare's plays now into a different setting. Like my first exposure to him was seeing Taming of the Shrew set in the 50s, which was a lot of fun. But like, did that make you all nervous? I mean, you had to be familiar with the play already to some extent. I mean, how did that affect your going into this of thinking like, wow, we're going to do modern day Joss Whedon with a lot of sight gags? How is this going to work with Much Ado About Nothing?
Much Ado is filled with sight gags. Much Ado on the page has got really silly, fun, broad kind of vaudeville comedy beats, and also, huge. You're my daughter. I hope you die.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It goes from one extreme to the other really
Which
fast.
Yes,
kind
it
of
does.
reminds me of the Avengers,
Sure.
Yeah.
and other Joss stuff. I felt that kinship between the material right away. I didn't feel like the updating was anything but a kind of. It just made sense for the way his.
Yeah, I mean, you
it
wouldn't
wasn't
wanna
something.
wear-
Oh, I'm going to update this. It just his idea about how to do it was that it was a kind of sexy noir romp with this,
Yeah.
and he had a really clear concept of how to do it. And so you're great. I mean, the first line I walk in, I say, I see from this message that Don Pedro of Aragon comes this night to Messina, and I'm holding up an iPhone. I thought, well, this just makes it fun.
Right.
But I didn't feel like it's, brace yourself for a reverent concept. It just seemed like a way to tell the story he was trying to tell.
And the wit with Joss, too, seems like a natural bridge because there's so much just biting wit back and forth between the two leads in this play, and there's so much wit in Joss's script. So was that also kind of a natural
definitely his
carryover?
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And beyond Beatrice and Benedict, I mean, it's throughout the play.
Indeed.
That quality.
The number one thing that came across to me watching this was how much fun it looked like everyone was having making it. I mean, I think that's really a big part of the appeal is that you feel like you're watching a bunch of friends who between every take crack up laughing.
It might have looked like it was a lot of fun, but really, it was a lot of fun.
But you missed the big drinking night, Nathan.
I did.
You did.
Actually,
He has made up for that this morning.
Oh, good.
I'm so drunk right now.
That's what Austin is for.
Yeah, when in Austin, do as the Austinites do.
Yeah.
Which is to say, have another scotch.
Right.
So
The streets are paved with IPA, as it turns out.
It was the fun of, hard work that you like to do. Because I wouldn't call it the fun of, let's snowboard this fantastic slope. I mean, we were walking around with whoever could help us learning the lines when we weren't on camera, and Nathan, his schedule shooting Castle, and so he had to get up on his one day off and go, and so fun is definitely fun, but it was the fun of something that you love to do, but that's also very hard, challenging, yeah.
now, was this the first time y'all have all worked together, the three of you?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Because I was looking up online, I was like, there must have been some time.
That was very
Think,
cool.
right? Yeah.
Although, and that was a cool sort of thing of seeing their work and loving them and being at parties at Joss's house and hanging out and loving that. But now it sort of brought it all together. Although we didn't really get to do anything on screen together, but we'll fix that.
I still say we work together.
It's sort of like a class reunion because you've all kind of been in the same place, maybe just not having the same classes with one another.
Like we went to UT, but at different years, but we all know how to go hook 'em horns.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, look at you bringing it in.
Local tie-in, I like it.
I know a realtor if you're looking for a place, Clark.
Everyone in Hollywood is looking for a place in Austin.
I hear that. In fact, I keep hearing of celebrities who've been here for a while and no one knew.
We like that LA traffic has moved to Austin.
Well, right
so we
now.
feel very
anyway.
comfortable with that.
Yeah.
We like jammed freeways.
Well, it gives you time to read. So, yeah.
That's true.
Brian?
Well, I got to say, there was incredibly, Clark, you mentioned coming into the fold of whatever Joss says, just say yes. And just before we started working, we saw you on the phone and you said to somebody, just do what I say, which was a very geeky Agent Coulson moment.
Yeah, I agree. We were both like,
I'm just like, he's
but
talking to Shue.
that was my wife, and she howled with laughter.
She said, "Who's standing there that you're trying to impress?"
She had a very stressful evening, and I was trying to make sure that she, took care of herself. And I was trying to use my boss, Agent Coulson voice, which just gets laughed at every time I try it. My daughter's like, "Yeah, totally, Coulson."
yeah, that's got to work against you as a dad, I would imagine. You're like, no, really, I'm serious this time.
Yeah.
You have to make up a new voice. Like, honey, please do this now.
I will come back from the dead and kick your ass.
There it is.
So, like, getting away a little bit from Much Ado for a second and just geeking out for a second because you knew this was going to happen. If you guys, in the context of everything that you've done so far with Joss, if you had to pick, like, you know, the project that you would love to do, to move on to next, what would that be?
Firefly.
You'd like to move on to the past? You want a new series?
Well, I mean, even so much as that, saying,
Yeah,
like,
both.
I want it all.
You want to be the villain? Oh.
ooh, he could get a whole arc for the whole first season
Nice.
of 70.
We need a new pilot.
I'm in.
You heard it here first.
We got it.
Can we remake it?
The big, nobody puts it in print, but geeks talk about it by themselves. It's like, well, if Arrested Development does well on Netflix,
Right.
anything could happen
Yeah.
next.
That opens some doors. It really kind of makes you think about the future.
I know. Anything's possible. I think Much Ado About Nothing actually proves that.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, actually, weirdly, Joss was saying he had wanted to do this a long time ago, and then strangely, technology arrived at a point where, hey, wait a minute, I can do this.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the ability to shoot it quickly and deliver it, have a platform where it could be delivered quickly, and then now it's kind of moved even beyond what anybody imagined, wouldn't you say, as far as this project?
Any plans for you guys to appear on the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show?
I plan it all the time.
Yeah.
Who listens?
Yeah.
I'm listening.
I know a guy on the inside.
Is there a S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show?
Yeah, didn't you hear?
I've heard rumors.
Joss is
I hope
over there.
Cole's
You
is
should
on
go
it.
talk to him.
I gotta talk to
I
him.
hear you're going to be
Piece of that.
Hamlet's father on it.
That's true.
Just the ghost
Damn it,
wandering
that's
around.
a spoiler, my friend. Agent Polonius.
I like it.
Well, thank you so much for doing this with us, guys. We really appreciate it. It was
This
great.
has been
to
a
get
thrill
it.
for us. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
Real-
No, it's fun.
Are we animated right now?
No, that comes later, possibly,
God.
maybe.
And we're going to animate you as Clark and you as Nathan, and we're just going to kind of move everyone's heads
sure you
around.
That only
my
works
hair
for
right.
me. Just give me some.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
For we are the only love gods.
Together one time. I want you to get together. I want you to get together.